What is the simplest way for your body to lose body fat? The $71 billion weight loss industry would love for you to believe that it's counting calories in against calories out. They'd also like you to believe that when it doesn't work for you, especially long term, that it's a lack of your motivation. That plateauing is not having the right mindset or enough willpower. This is wrong. Research shows that even when caloric restrictions were identical, some lost twice the percentage of their body weight fat as others during the same 6 weeks of a restricted, strict diet. Why? Why? Can be best answered by looking at the other criteria the body has when it comes to using body fat as energy. Focusing on the criteria the body needs to have in place so it freely opens the gates of the fat cell to release fat molecules as fuel is what will make counting calories in and calories out actually work. So the most effective way for your body to lose body fat is to have your body set up so it can easily use body fat stores as fuel. And to do that, you have to first identify the metabolic conditions the body needs met to more easily use the body fat stores. That's the bottom line. What is missing in today's messaging is the awareness that the metabolic conditions exist and that they need to be in place for your caloric deficit to work. Research continues to uncover that there is way more that controls the body fat use than calories in and calories out. And it's another reason for making this channel. Over my decades in the field, I've met too many beating themselves up when caloric counting didn't work. Don't get me wrong, I use it, I suggest it, but in its proper place in the hierarchy of how the body works, layering it in as an amazing awareness tool and tweaking tool when the body has met the other criteria. In my opinion, there is no excuse for the ongoing incomplete messaging to still have such a strong foothold and damaging impact on those spending their time, energy, and finances trying to lose body fat counting calories. Hence, this video. It's set up with timestamps. First, we're going to do the research of what influences the use of body fat for fuel, the focused actions that support the efficient use of body fat, and then I've also included a link to the transcript page where you can find on the list of references a few extra studies that we aren't covering, such as genetics, medications that influence excess weight gain, and processed foods influence. As I mentioned in To Lose Body Fat Part 1, there are 2 things the body needs to set up to easily use stored body fat as fuel. The first I listed was the efficient shuttling of stored fat out of your fat cells to be used as fuel. The second thing necessary I listed is maintaining or improving metabolic conditions that matter to metabolism. That's what I'm sharing today. Your metabolism is the personal rate of calories you need to maintain your day-to-day existence. Every single day, you need calories to exist for your body functions like breathing, circulating your blood, kidney, liver function, your brain. That's considered your resting metabolic rate. You also need calories to digest your food and to move, to heal, to grow. You need calories for every process in your body. And there is a caloric deficit and certain conditions are met. Your body will efficiently use its stored body fat for energy. So a caloric deficit is a necessary factor to use body fat stores, but it's only one factor that must be met for your body to efficiently and effectively use your body fat as fuel. When there's a deficit and the other necessary conditions are not met, your body will not be willing to give up stored body fat easily. This is for a very good reason. Before your body gives up its fat stores isn't a flaw. It's actually a miraculous way for your body to evaluate system-wide how to best keep you alive. There's a constant communication between all of your systems and their status. The swiftness of the messaging is incomprehensibly fast, nimble, and adjustments are made unbeknownst to you in nanoseconds, all to enable you to live your life. Fat is now known to be an organ. Fat tissue has metabolic, biomechanical, immune, and hormone secretion function. This means your body fat releases hormones that impact your other systems, and that those other systems have an impact on your body fat. When the need for more energy arises due to a deficit of calories, your body checks in, it surveys the terrain, what's going on, figures out what's needed, and what the best resource is at that time to provide the energy your cells need to cover that deficit. Bringing the concept down to the bare minimum, the way for you to lose body fat is to take the focused actions that help your body meet the criteria, so that it will freely give up fat stores when there's a caloric deficit. Research that points to some of the biggest influencers include documentation that chronic stress and body fat are part of a feedback loop that slows metabolism. Researchers have discovered that chronic stress stimulates production of a protein that inhibits an enzyme involved in fat metabolism, and that stress causes you to accumulate more fat. We, of course, all have stress, but it's not having stress that's the problem. It's the having chronic stress that's the problem. We've covered this in the whole Big Influencer HPA Access. Even if logically you don't feel you have excess stress, but internally your physiological cascades are going on that alter that cortisol loop that we talked about, your body will not be willing to easily give up fat stores. The reality is, we all have stress. We all have sometimes high stress. The difference is if we've consistently used the tools to lower the physiological internal response we have to stress so that it doesn't hang on and become chronic. We don't need to avoid stress. We need to counteract stress, strengthening our relaxation loop, involving our vagus nerve, and using very simple tools to make that happen. So again, research confirms stress can rise and fall with no negative impact. It's when our stress hormone cortisol is not cycling optimally. Here's how knowing this helps. We can leverage the way the body works. Use the specific focused actions that will short circuit the chronic stress loop, which will result in setting up our body to use the body fat stores. Next set of research. Hormones. The hormone insulin in the bloodstream, even with a caloric deficit, your body is going to resist giving up fat as its energy. Not having enough time where there is a low enough level of insulin to trigger hormone-sensitive lipase means the fat cells will not receive the messaging to open up its stores and let the stored fat come out to be used as fuel. When insulin circulates chronically higher, stores of fat are maintained, and over time, the more body fat that is maintained, it sets the body up to have less of a caloric need. When you have less of a caloric need, and you're using the same amount of calories as before, expecting to lose body fat, instead, your body is going to accumulate more fat cells around the abdominal area, causing more glucose and hormone lipase messaging to not use your body fat. Knowing this is helpful because we can leverage the way our body works and break the cycle. We can learn which foods sustain us longer and what timing works best for our schedule and lifestyle, slowly optimizing more and more time between meals so the hormone insulin lowers and hormone-sensitive lipase can signal the fat cells to release fat molecules when there's a deficit of calories. Next, age. Age is one of the most important factors of changes in energy metabolism. It decreases linearly with age. And this is a blessing. This is set up to help us survive. We need less. If we need less as we age, we don't have to go out to find the food as much. What is the physiological change that encourages this decrease with age? Well, it's been shown to be the volume of skeletal muscle. It decreases precipitously as we age. And it's this decrease in muscle mass relative to the total body that may wholly be responsible for the age-related decreases in the metabolic rate. Again, set up to protect us and keep us alive. In this day and age, knowing this fact is helpful because we can prioritize muscle resistance work and increase complete protein consumption. Right now we're focused on working out, using our muscles appropriately with resistance, and our increase of high quality protein will enable our muscle to have what it needs to maintain and improve our muscles. There is substantial evidence that supports increased consumption of high quality protein achieves optimal health outcomes, and a growing body of research indicates that protein intakes well above the current recommended dietary allowance help to promote healthy aging, appetite regulation, weight management, and goals aligned with athletic performance. Higher protein intakes help the loss of muscle mass and strength that predisposes older adults to disability, loss of autonomy. Higher protein diets lead to greater reductions in body weight and fat mass compared to low protein diets. They serve as a successful strategy to prevent and defeat obesity. Not to mention, skeletal musculature is a fundamental organ that consumes the largest part of energy in the normal human body. It influences around 20% of the calories we need, and that's huge. You can make daily choices that will encourage the use of body fat stores and create an ongoing higher demand for fuel, and will create the terrain where your body is happy and willing to give up excess fat stores. The benefits don't stop there. When you minimally maintain and better yet improve your metabolic rate, it exponentially positively impacts your overall health. While muscles are exciting and huge, there's another walk of an influence when it comes to using body fat. Did you know that if the body is dehydrated, even just suboptimally, encourages the fat cell to hang on to its fat molecules? When we are dehydrated, formation of the triglycerides increases and the free fatty acids are not able to be transformed and metabolized. As the cell gets more and more dehydrated, the metabolism of free fatty acids and amino acids being released at a lower level means glucose is going to be the main fuel source that your body's going to look for because it's going to need something fast. So you're going to walk around looking for sugar. Hypohydration, which just means you don't have enough water for what the cell needs, will slow down the release and use of stored fat molecules. So if you're going along and being hyper-focused on how many calories you had in, how many calories you got out, and yet you are underhydrated, the process of releasing those fatty acid molecules, the stores of fat out of your cell, is going to be inhibited. And your body is going to signal out to you to get more energy quicker because it doesn't have access to what's already stored. Knowing this, we can pay attention to our water intake. These four we can easily place our focus on to reduce our frustration and encourage our body to use fat stores when we are creating a deficit. We can strengthen our relaxation loop so that our internal physiology is not under chronic stress messing with our cortisol loop. We can make note of and slowly train our body to space out our meals so the insulin is low enough that the hormone-sensitive lipase can tell the fat stores, open up the gates, we can use our fat molecules for energy. We can place a focus on resistance exercises and improving muscle density. First, by creating the framework that it's safe to do more movement on, and then moving out to the superficial muscles, which is what's coming up next week. Fourth, we can make sure that we are hydrated, because if we're putting the effort in to count calories and be micro-focused on what's going in and what's going out, figuring out if we had enough water for the day is a very simple way to make sure you're setting your body up to release those fat stores you'd like to use. So in my experience, those 4 criteria should be set up in place prior to or while you are restricting your caloric intake. There are 2 more that I'm going to mention, and they would be added after weaving in the other 4 in your simple self-care routine, because often the first 4 change the train so much that 5 and 6 would ultimately be different. But so you have a comprehensive picture of the body's criteria before you use body fat, I'm going to include them today. We'll layer them in the future when they'll be most effective to place our focus on. So number 5, when the body can't recognize, disassemble with ease, and use the food you've chosen to eat, the chronic inflammatory response will keep the stress hormones circulating and the body will hold on to fat stores. How does knowing this help us? Connecting that we're not able to use our body fat stores while inflamed can help us address the root cause. There's nothing more empowering than being able to decide if you want to consume something or not when you have the understanding of the full impact it has on your body and your goals. And why wait for this? Why? Because body fat, remember, is an endocrine organ, which is itself giving out pro-inflammatory messaging to your body. If by setting the body up with the other 4 criteria, you're using body fat, and your inflammation goes down, it may be that then your inflammatory response to the foods has been lessened. But if it hasn't, then you know that's a place to put your energy. It's all about simplifying the process when anyone has a goal, whatever that goal is. There are certain criteria the body has that keeps you closer to homeostasis, so all of your goals are made easier. It's the framework you build everything else on. So number 5, figuring out food intolerances, is a bio-individual process that comes later, as well as 6, your intestines microbiome. The main physiological function of the gut microbiota are digestion, vitamin synthesis, and metabolism. The gut flora controls fat tissue expansion and glucose metabolism. What we eat and what our gut microbiome is controls the ease in which we will use body fat stores. The microbiome helps inhibit fat accumulation, reduce inflammation, insulin resistance, and it'll regulate the neuropeptides and gastrointestinal peptides that help us get the nutrients we need to our body. Does it make sense to throw any probiotics in? No. Because as you change what you eat, as you reduce your inflammatory response, it will start to point towards which probiotics are best for you. That's a future video. Right now, knowing enables you to hold the whole picture of what it takes to use your body fat stores easily. Simple, focused actions taken consistently that are focused on optimizing the metabolic processes I listed encourage your body to use body fat easily when there's a caloric deficit. It's how you can achieve your goal. Calories in, calories out is not the full story. Your body's set up to protect you, and by making sure you will have enough fuel to get through while you're under a chronic stress, it will resist using body fat stores freely. It will make sure that when you have plenty of food, that it very efficiently converts it into the triglycerides and stores it, because you might not have excess food. It's trying to do you a favor by converting the excess calories into triglycerides, shuttling them into your fat cells for when you don't have enough. And it will know that you don't have enough when your insulin levels are lower. Then your body will protect you as you age and your muscle mass declines by making sure you don't need as many calories. The body will protect you when you do not have enough water, when you have an inflammatory response, and when your immune system is subpar. How lucky are we? Knowing how our body works means we have a clearer picture of how we can set our body up to use body fat so it can lose body fat. Placing your focused efforts on your body's biggest influencers, your 3 organs of your HPA axis, your 3 muscle groups that we're starting next week, and your nutrients means you will set your body up to use stored body fat more effectively and efficiently, and for long term, not just as a quick weight loss venture. When you place your focus efforts on the Simplify Self-Care actions, you are setting your body up to use stored body fat efficiently when there's a caloric deficit. If you're new here, videos showing you the simple focused actions for each will be linked below, or you can receive each video dripped to your inbox in the order intended by going to simplifyselfcare.com and subscribing. For those of you that have been here, I am cheering you on. I hope you really get excited about the picture that everything you do is exponentially improving your overall health, including the ability for your body to use body fat. If you think of it like the hockey stick effect, right? We're plugging along. We're doing the 3 biggest influencers when it comes to our 3 organs, the HPA axis. Then we're doing the 3 muscle groups. Then we're doing the 3 nutrients. We're laying all this foundation, and then exponentially it's going to impact a whole bunch of systems. And it's going to start to come together. It's going to help your body fat use be more efficient. It's going to help your blood pressure. It's going to help your hormones level off to conceive. It's going to help anything on your want to list that I shared with you initially. Whatever health, wellness, or fitness goal you have, every week we are laying down the foundation to make that happen, and at the same time exponentially improving your everyday life. So let's wrap this up. To lose body fat, your body will need to use body fat more efficiently, and with the following criteria: a strong relaxation loop, meals time so insulin can lower appropriately, workouts that improve muscle strength, hydrate yourself, eat foods that are unprocessed and that your individual body can digest well, and reproliferate the intestines with the appropriate probiotics. You absolutely can set your body up to efficiently and effectively use body fat stores. So when you do have a caloric deficit, it does exactly what you would like it to do successfully. Use your excess body fat stores in a balanced, health-promoting way. Knowing the conditions the body must meet in order to use body fat as fuel enables you to leverage the way your body works to achieve your goal. I want to thank those of you who are watching the videos all the way through, as well as giving a thumbs up, because both of those metrics is exactly what YouTube looks at in order to put the video out there. And for those of you who are on Facebook and sharing, I want to acknowledge and let you know I appreciate that too, because statistically we're seeing that Facebook shares are the number 1 way we are getting views on the channel. So thank you. I appreciate every effort each individual is contributing, getting the information out there for others who are looking. As always, I want to congratulate those of you who have shown up again. Next week, you're jumping into the second of the 3 big influencer groups, and that's exciting. Until next time, take care.